Hey everybody, Max here, and today we'll be taking a look at the Dia de los Muertos Sidewinder from Action Force. That's right guys, we're taking a look at the Dia de los Muertos Sidewinder. This is a part of Series 6 and is number 2 in the line. This was a convention exclusive until recently. I actually purchased this guy off of the VALAVERSE website. They are now available for $30, $29.99. And this is the box it comes with. You have a standard head, which is what I ended up with, and then there was a chance 100 of each to get either of these, and I think one has red, one has blue around the eyes, and then you have the snake and the spider web and everything. I actually quite like the standard version, but if I had to mix and match, I'd probably have the eyes of the standard, the snake on the forehead, and then this painting around the mouth there. That I think that would have been the perfect version, but this is the standard version is just fine. I really, all three are great. I actually kind of like the all black as opposed to some of these that have like a red and blue around the eyes. I like the just kind of black and white, so that's totally fine for me. Um, and but let me know in the comments section. Did you buy this guy? Did you get one of these exclusives by chance? If not, are you happy with what you got? So, all right. So yeah, this is the box that it comes with. Blind box. Don't know what you're getting until you open it. And very nice. And then you have the collector-friendly package that we're going with now with Series 6. I think this is a great idea. I've talked about this in my Weapons Pack November video. If you haven't watched that yet, take a look at it. It combines the kind of the displayability of the blister card with the repackagability of the box. So I just take these tabs off down here because there's just tabs all the way around, as you can see, and you can slide the card out and then it stays pristine, and then you have the package. And so that is really cool, and you can save the package as opposed to blister cards. Traditionally they're glued or something to that effect, and you end up ripping the cardboard and everything like that, and it just doesn't look as nice if you want to save the cards. But now you can put them back up on, you can play with your toys, put them back in the package, and then hang them back up on the wall, and your card stays just fine. And 3 action points, because this is kind of I would say this is kind of like a deluxe-esque, kind of a deluxe light figure. Comes with a lot, and a little more than your standard figure, but for the $30 price range. And this is the file card, and it's pretty much the same, if I'm not mistaken, just different color, different artwork, and very cool artwork, I have to say. I do hope that we start getting new media for Action Force, some new comic series. That would be awesome. So, pretty cool artwork or diorama shot on the back. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that guy up right there, and hopefully the glare doesn't get it isn't too much of a problem. All right, let's dive into the accessories as we usually do. Comes with a Rocky stand, the new one. Quite like these. And I wouldn't mind seeing some new colors for these. I don't know. Like, since he's kind of all in gray, maybe if this was black to kind of indicate kind of nighttime, like the Night Ops Senshi. I kind of look at this guy, and I know it's called the Day of the Dead, but this is essentially the Night Ops Sidewinder. And I'm going to talk a little bit, we'll do a little side-by-side comparison here before long, because he comes with some of the same accessories as the first Sidewinder. And Sidewinder is, this one, is the first one here, is kind of the breakout hit for me for the Series 5. I quite liked him. He was the one that I was looking forward to the most, and I feel like delivered the most. I mean, there was pretty much all of the figures were really good, with the exception of some issues with Senshi, but I really did like Sidewinder, and so having another one in the line is pretty cool. So we got the stand. He comes with the usual array of hands, the cupping hands, and let's shine a little extra light here. So we got our usual hands in green as opposed to black. We got our kind of our C grip hands, gripping hands, and then we have our fists, and we of course have our trigger finger hands. And he comes with this nice AK-47 with the rocket launcher or grenade launcher underneath. This comes in the Weapons Pack Lima, and it's great to have another AK, so I've done a review on that, so check that out if you haven't already. drop-down magazine with the taped dual magazines, and I think the color is different on this one. I think in the Weapons Pack Lima the tape is green, and this is more of a, I don't know, grayish, earthy tone, grayish tone, and this one turned out really well. So very cool. Glad we're getting different variety of weapons in the line. So, and then here is the figure himself. Let's just break him down like I normally do. And he has the new style helmet. And this one comes with new ear protection, communication. Bobby B calls them peltors, and I need to look that up what that actually means. But correct me if I'm wrong, but at any rate, these are new and they fit fairly well. Rotate around, and the microphone, as you saw, kind of comes down over the mouth and not over the nose, like sometimes these things are wont to do. But it is flexible plastic enough that you could probably remold it if you needed to. Just heat it up a little bit, run it under cold water after it's in the shape that you want, and then kind of go from there. So these kind of pop off, and they pop off fairly easily, but they stay. They have pretty good retention, I have to say. Just a plain black little plug. They kind of float around a little too much for my taste, and they don't quite, particularly with this one, like I said, you may have to remold the microphone, so to get it to cover the ear, it might come up to the nose. So just have to play around with it a little bit. But pretty good detail on that helmet. And those ear plugs, ear protection, I don't know, peltors. And then you have your night vision quad nods, green paint. A little sloppy on the paint right there. The post is still too long, so unfortunately we have gotten, it doesn't always line up. You have to kind of reposition the helmet just a certain way, and it doesn't always look exactly right. The posts, sometimes they hang down a little low, so they don't line up with the character's eyes, which is unfortunate. And I hope we get a correction someday. And helmet has pretty good detail, like we've seen before. And green paint. He comes with, now he does not come with any blast effects, I just added these. And honestly, I had to hunt around for blast effects that had thick enough posts to fit snugly into these Mac 10s, because the porthole for blast effects is a little on the large side, at least on the suppressor. So just be aware of that. So you could probably use a blast effect that goes over the barrel if you don't want to use the suppressor. So just kind of keep that in mind, that you may have to hunt around in your collection of blast effects to find something that fits into or over the barrel or into the suppressor. So these are really cool. Also come with Weapons Pack Lima. No drop-down magazine, but very sturdy. And I do like the design. I do like these weapons. They are very cool. I've always thought Mac 10s were really neat. So it comes for dual wielding. There you go. Oh, and that's not even the end to his weapons. He comes with his machete. That also comes with the original. So it's the same mold, just different colors. So this one, it looks like it's just solid black plastic, but as you can tell from the lighting, and I kept thinking, is it just the lighting, or is this painted? It kind of looks like kind of a stonewash blade edge, so that's really cool. Whereas the original one is all silver. And honestly, I think I said in my original Sidewinder video, I think it was this machete that sold me on the figure. Like, that's not a machete, that's a short sword. So a little more paint on the original. No silver on the hilt or the handle. But I do like this kind of stonewash look to it. At least that's what it looks like to me. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it looks cool. And then it slides right in there. Do I have it right? There we go. Doing this on camera. And yeah, so very cool. Fits into his backpack. And then we have his And let me just say, I want to just take this off because the belt pegs off just like it's the same belt, just in gray plastic and some black paint as the original, and pegs off, and comes with a suppressor for his 2011 that has scales molded into it. Now we've seen this with a lot of different characters, which I don't think is, it just seems kind of, I hesitate to say lazy, but this seems like a very specifically designed weapon for a character. I mean, it's snake scales, and it's designed for a character who calls himself Sidewinder. So it just seems like nobody else should use a weapon like this. So there should be another version of this without the scales on it. So, but again, it's just a minor quibble. This is a very cool designed weapon, and the suppressor fits very well into the port, and there are ports for blast effects on both. And like that the paint turned out really well. The only thing that I don't really like about this particular, it's a left-handed draw for one thing, and let me get it in there right. And where it sits on the waist, you know, it just kind of, it sits a little too snug the way it comes, and it's just kind of gets in the way a little bit. And so what I do with the original is I rotate it around to get it out of the way on the left side and put it in the small of his back. Now that works with this type of vest, as you can tell, but it's not going to work for this type of vest, at least with this extra front piece installed into it. So, and I will explain what I am talking about as soon as I get my weapons and my suppressors back into their pouches. And let me see if I got that right. Well, rotate it around. Okay. But yeah, same detail. Very good. Turned out really well. And the pegs, the mushroom pegs and everything, they function very well. It goes on and off, in and out just fine. All right. So we come to the vest, this new vest, and I quite like it. Very nice design all the way around, very snug fit. Communications, some shears for his med pouch. Looks like a little flashlight there. And then he has these pouches here in the front. And I thought for a second, like, uh-oh, like, why did they design that? Like that, you know, like design this coming down, like that's going to hinder our, you know, forward bend. But it looks cool, but you can peg this out, just like that. So it's just a little attachment there, and which reveals the Mexican flag and the caduceus to indicate that he is a medic. So that is the symbol of medical personnel, and that is pretty cool. The only downside is you have these two open holes here. So I'm sure probably down the line we will get some plugs to put in here. I hope that we do at any rate, because it just kind of looks a little unsightly, but it does allow for the belt to go on and position it the way I want it to, and it doesn't hinder the forward range as much. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of forward range because of just because he's wearing a vest, so that's going to be an issue no matter what. However, it just kind of opens it up a little bit, and I do quite like this look, a little more open, and I can position the belt the way I want. But at the same time, I do like the idea of interchangeable pieces. So, and these fit very snugly, unlike say the G.I. Joe Action Soldier or Doc. All of those pouches just don't seem to stay in. These peg in very snugly, as you can tell. They're fairly robust. Hopefully you can see that. And they have little raised tabs to help it lock into place into these recess holes, and that is great. And once they're in there, I mean, once you get it out, it makes it a little easier to get it in and out. So I can see this getting a little loose over time, but I do hope that eventually we get some just basic plugs to plug in those holes. That would be a nice touch. But yeah, I do like the fact that we're getting some new equipment, new vests. I do like Senshi's vest. I would like to see that on some different characters. While this, like I said, Sidewinder is a great figure, I'm not crazy about this particular vest, even though it is much easier to get on and off this style of vest. So at any rate, and we've seen it with several other characters, so I'm looking forward to seeing something new with this style. So enough about the vests. Let's talk about the grenades. Now, obviously, I took the grenades off. I don't really like the look of the grenade pouches, the holsters on the standard Sidewinder, but I don't know, maybe it's just the color, but I don't mind them on this guy. So it looks a little strange. I mean, carrying around, I don't know if there's a real world equivalent to that. I don't know if that was a compromise or something that he came up with, but it seems a little weird to have these little baskets with grenades sitting in them. But you have your flash, I guess this could be flashbangs or gas grenades, and they're in there very snugly. And they're different colors from the original Sidewinder. So these are kind of a silverish, kind of a goldish silverish, kind of a muted gold silver combination there. And then these are black, these little probably fragmentation grenades. Let's see if I can get one of these out. Yep. And hopefully you can see that. Just plain black plastic. And they fit, and they have a little recess, for the spoon to fit into. Get that in there if I can. All right. And then, so that is the weapons. Okay, so here is the face. Very cool paint. I think the eyes turned out really well. Series 5 had some issues with eyes. Some people did. They were either cloudy or faded, or they all looked up or sideways. This guy looks pretty good. And the paint turned out on the face paint turned out very well. And it is, of course, the same face sculpt. And the detail and just the small lines came out. There's no bleeding. So that is really cool. I kind of think of this guy as like the Mexican Punisher because he's got this skull face paint, but it's in keeping with the culture. So I don't know, take this front piece off and put a Punisher skull, and you've got the Mexican Punisher. So, but it's pretty cool. And let's see, he has now this is a floating neck with the disc hinge, and this one is not as it fits more flush than the first one. That was one complaint that I had. His kind of has a bit of a bobble head. The original, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a little loose. This one is not so much, so that's great. That's an improvement. And same tattooing, which turned out really well. And the hinge is really solid. Get the head back on if I can. Is he on there? Yep, I didn't hear it pop, but I think he's on there just fine. So he looks up, really good. Looks down. Whoops, I guess he's not on there. Okay, so he looks down that far. So that's great. T-pose, really good. Bicep swivel, usual articulation. There, I think the arms turned out a little bit better on this guy than the original. There was a bit of a bobble here in the elbow joint, and this one is not as pronounced. Probably unavoidable at times, but it is still pretty good. Pinless joints, double jointed on the elbows. He can scratch his head. So that looks good. Wrist, usual stuff. Vertical hinge on the right, and on both right and left because they're trigger finger hands. And they are not loosey-goosey like on the Senshi figure. And I don't think I had that problem with the original Sidewinder, so that's fine. Paint turned out really well. He's got some tattooing on the wrists. Got a watch and a band. That is cool. And then he's got splits, really good Sidewinder splits. Drop down hips. He kicks forward. Even with this piece in the front, he still kicks forward fairly well. About 90 degrees when you extend the leg. And then very smooth on the knees. Some of these Action Force figures have very stiff joints. And of course I say that, and the left lower leg is a little stiff, but that's fine. You can heat it up, and that is fine. Got the boot swivel, and let's straighten that leg out. Oh, of course he has the thigh swivel, which I quite like. I'm not so crazy about the drop-down hips being back necessarily. I do agree that some have, with what some have said, that it's just one other thing to go wrong, one other thing to get loose. There have been times when they have gotten loose on my Action Force figures, and I've just super glued them into a neutral pose. So, but that was with some of the older series. And then he has the new boot swivel, and boots go down and then up that far, and we'll probably get a little more range of motion. Yep, points that down, that far down, and then rotates around. So yeah, that is Mr. Sidewinder. There you go. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I'm going to give this guy a warp factor of 9.5. Don't really see much at all wrong with him. I do hope that we get these night vision goggles post redesigned at some point. But other than that, great purchase. Great to have him in the line. Let me know what you think. Did you pick him up? Did you pass? Take care, guys. I'll talk at you next time. Continue to be awesome.